Welcome to partialarc.com. Don't do that.
I'm here to save the day. I'm here to save the day.
Soon I will be invincible. Because comics. Welcome to Because Comics. This is episode 4. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and I'm joined by my co-host, the Regal, Mike Christensen.
Yes. Thank you very much. Well, why was that Elvis?
Was that a gangster
No,
king?
I was trying to do like, oh, thank you very much, and then it ended up coming out as Elvis, who is the king.
It was a little.
So it kind of worked.
I guess that was close. I really thought you were doing like a gangster, like, nah, I don't think very much.
No, my gangster's unmistakable, say. You'll be hearing my gangster later this episode.
Oh, wow. That was, I've dipped into your mind
it's
somehow.
True. That is foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. That's really the best foreshadowing you'll ever hear
on this podcast. On this
for
sure.
We've really hit the peak pretty early on in this podcast, episode 4.
Exactly. Great to be here, everybody, as always.
Indeed. Well, I guess today we're going to kick things off with the pull list, as always.
Alrighty, yeah. For those who don't know, I covered every episode. The pull list is when a comic book store holds onto your comics for you, what you want to read, so that you can come in anytime during the week or on the weekend or weeks later or months later. In my case,
when you leave comics there for a while. They love it.
It's one thing if you tell them, I have had this in the past, it's one thing if you tell them, hey, I'm going out of town. It's another thing when they just like,
hey, I'm going to fight an intergalactic war, so if you could just hold those for me for about 2 years, that would be great. All right, we got a little sidetracked. Personal stories.
Jay, speaking of your pull list,
yes,
what do you have in your pull list right now?
Well, I'd like to discuss a little book called Moon Knight.
Oh, yeah.
Moon Knight's pretty great. It's if no one's heard of Moon Knight before, Moon Knight is a character. He is Mark Spector. He's
a Marvel superhero.
Mm-hmm. Moon Knight. And Mark Spector is insane. And I don't mean like he does crazy stuff. He's actually insane. He has multiple personalities.
Yeah.
And it's kind of part of his character. And he's years and years of comics. He's gone through tons of different iterations. And really this new iteration of Moon Knight, like they took him really dark and really grim and gothic-y. And then they also sometimes threw him into Avengers issues, and he was like, hey, I'm the guy who wears all white and punches people, and they're like, what? And then he's there, he shows up.
What are you? Why are you here? What do you do?
He's like, if you want to get an example of Moon Knight, just think of Batman, but he's just completely, everything he wears, throws, uses is white.
Yeah.
And the concept behind that is he's crazy, remember? He wants people to know that he's coming, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it matches with that insanity factor that he has going on. So this new book is
He also calls himself Moon Knight. Wearing white is thematically appropriate.
That does make sense. I mean, he's like, well, if I'm really going to commit to this, I got to go all the way.
I'm pretty sure he used to fight werewolves. So.
Did he used to fight werewolves?
I'm pretty sure.
Man, that's awesome. I hope so. He probably did it. So I mean, I think
that's like where his origins
their passing
are.
of the torch or something, or not the passing of the torch when they're like, you've made it to superhero if you fight werewolves, right?
No, I think he was like Blade. Like he premiered in like werewolf comics.
That's awesome.
I have to check my notes, and by that I mean Wikipedia.
Which is weird because his origin is like very like Egyptian mythology based. So okay, maybe they had werewolves over there.
Maybe I'm lying.
Big place for werewolves, Egypt. If you ever go there, ask your tour guides; they'll take you around. Sidetracks aside.
Do we want to take another pass at this episode?
No, I think we're good. I think we're riding the ship right now.
Okay.
So anyways, Moon Knight. It's written by Warren Ellis and Declan Shalvey. Mm-hmm. Well, Warren Ellis writes, Declan Shalvey does the art.
Gotcha.
So just to get into a little bit about this new take on Moon Knight is, they've basically done... It seems like a lot of writers these days, when they have either a crazy history with a character or whatever it is, the writers just go, you know what? We're just going to roll with this. We're going to go with the full insanity factor with this character and just do it.
There is a tendency these days to steer into the curve.
Yeah, they're just like, let's just do this thing.
Yeah.
And it works. For example, Moon Knight in this first comic shows up, like there's a crime scene, someone's dead in an alley, and he doesn't like come down from the roofs and like his cape flaps in the wind and it's like, I'm here, what's the dead body, right? No, he straight up pulls up in a bright white limo. He steps out in full white outfit. He's wearing like a white 3-piece suit.
Oh, yeah.
From head to toe, he's got like a white mask on with the moon on the top, and he just strolls up just like totally normal. Like, hey guys, what's up? Oh, we got a dead body? Totally normal? All right, I'll take care of this. And everybody's like, oh yeah, Moon Knight, okay. And the reader's got to be like, what the hell is going on?
I remember seeing the white suit in like the solicitations. The funny thing about that is that first showed up in Secret Avengers when Warren Ellis was writing it. I think it was Michael Lark, because because he's a member of the Secret Avengers, and he was undercover just in a white suit, and then in the middle of action he just slapped on a mask, and I remember thinking that is an awesome look. It's not just white Batman, it's like he's a 3-piece suit, he looks like he could be a hitman, like you don't know.
It's awesome.
And I was super excited to see it, and I haven't picked up Moon Knight yet, but I was super excited to see it in the previews.
And it works, especially because the rest of the coloring, how it's done and everything, it's all very dark and grim. It's at night, and then you've got this literally beacon of light walking down the alley as Moon Knight. He very much stands out.
Yeah.
And the whole rest of this comic and other subsequent comics is him just doing crazy stuff. The first one, it's, you think it's a murderer, he's going after some serial killer. He goes down in the sewers. It's like some robot cyborg assassin who he takes, like, completely out of nowhere. No explanation. That's the first comic.
It is the Marvel Universe. It is appropriate.
Of course. Robot assassins, cyborgs are around.
One of them teaches at the X-Men Academy.
Of course. That's true.
I think actually 2 of them teach the X-Men Academy.
I'm sure there's been a great tenure of teachers that have gone through the doors of the X-Men Academy.
But I think Deathlock is a teacher right now.
Is he?
I think so.
Oh my God.
No, he's like an administrator.
I gotta pick that up. But anyways, just to kind of end this out, the last issue of Moon Knight, to tell you how crazy this thing is, completely steering to the curve.
The most recent?
Oh yeah, the most recent. So in between some of these issues, he'll don his regular costume again, which is full cape and hood, without any explanation. They're never like, why is he sometimes wearing a suit and sometimes he's wearing this regular costume? No, whatever. They just go for it.
He does have multiple personalities.
Maybe one of them likes better tailoring.
Yeah.
So this last one, he's just strolling through the city in his white limousine, and he happens upon ghost punks. You didn't mishear me. These are punk kids that are ghosts, and they're just they're going around causing problems and hitting people.
Just hooligans,
ghost hooligans.
Poltergeists.
And his solution to this is, I can't punch them because they're ghosts, right? I'll just go home and put on all this old Egyptian crap, suit up, and just beat the crap out of ghosts with old magic Egyptian stuff. Never explained. He gets the idea from a statue and like a skull that he has in his house, and that's the last issue I've read of Moon Knight. It is awesome. Please check it out. That is on my pull list. Moon Knight.
I am definitely checking it out when I get home.
Please.
My poll this week is Afterlife with Archie. Now, it's written by Roberto. I don't know how to pronounce this. It's Roberto Aguirre-Sacasa. I've actually met him. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Excuse me, Roberto, how do you pronounce
your last name?
Oh,
Thank you for the signed comics. And it's drawn by Francesco Francavilla, who worked on...
Love his art.
You and I know him probably primarily from Batman when he was working on the Black Mirror storyline.
Did you read, he did Black Beetle? Did you read it?
Yes.
That was his own series, a noir
I read a
superhero.
few. I really liked what I read. I
really
couldn't find
cool.
the other issues, unfortunately.
And
but he's a fantastic artist. Now, Jay, you don't have a lot of familiarity with Archie.
I don't.
Now, the Archie comics have been around for decades and decades, and they're
an institution.
They're an institution, and they're very much unchanged. They're very much the same stories. It's always, who's Archie gonna take to the dance? Is it Betty, the cute blonde, or Veronica, the rich brunette? Like, what's he gonna do? But you have this fun cast of colorful characters who are very reliable. You've got Jughead, who's just always eating, and
I've seen him. He's the one with the hat, right?
He's the one with the crown.
Yeah.
The little paper crown that you like pull out of a party popper or whatever it is.
Nice.
And
does it ever change colors, or is it perpetually one color?
I don't know.
Decades.
Well, the thing is, I haven't read as much Archie until more recently.
Okay.
Things with like Life with Archie. That was a comic that launched a few years ago that sort of started shaking things up, being a little more mature, not in like the gritty Sin City way, but like this is them like 5 years, 10 years down the line, like they're out of college. There's 2 alternate realities. One is he's married Betty, and one he's married Veronica.
Does this happen at every issue?
No. It's like they're running concurrently. Yeah, we see each storyline in each issue. It's really well done, but that's not the one I'm talking about today.
Oh, okay.
Today I'm talking about Afterlife with Archie, which is about zombies.
Wow.
So the premise... Now, Sabrina the Teenage Witch is a member of the Archie line.
I've heard about this.
Yeah,
that's being worked in.
She's a member of... She shows up in Riverdale all the time.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's released by Archie as well.
It's like an Archie universe?
Yeah. Josie and the Pussycats are part of the Archie universe as well. They play at almost every school dance.
You're blowing my mind right now.
Very much, and Sabrina will show up and just cause shenanigans in her book, or they'll or in theirs. Like whenever you want a contrivance, she's around. The first issue of Afterlife with Archie opens with Jughead's dog, Hot Dog, getting hit by a car and killed. And he goes to Sabrina's house in the rain holding the dead dog. And she's like, yeah, I can help. And she pulls out the Necronomicon.
Nice.
And then brings him back to life.
I feel like in that moment he could have almost like turned at the panel and just been like, a wink. And then just like...
That's the interesting thing is normally that is probably exactly what would have happened.
Exactly.
This is a very...
Nothing shady is going to happen with this.
This reads like Walking Dead. This is totally uncharacteristic of the series. It's not the same art style.
Like grim, like there's bodies everywhere?
It is very dark.
Does anyone
as a
get
series.
eaten?
Jughead gets eaten in the first issue.
Oh my god.
Jughead gets turned into Patient Zero and attacks the school dance and just starts causing a zombie apocalypse. It plays straight.
Wow.
Sabrina's ants aren't like, the fun ants or whatever. They're like these weird, like witch, like shadowy figures that are like almost like ghouls. And they like, when Sabrina screws up and they're like, why did you read the Necronomicon? They like seal her in limbo. And it is bizarre. Even like Cheryl Blossom, who's like the fun, flirty redhead, she's very Mary Jane. She in this comic has like this weird incestuous relationship with her brother that's like super uncomfortable.
Who wrote this issue?
Roberto Aguirre. I don't know how to pronounce his
I'm gonna
name.
just try to bring up that name as much as... Mike, who was that guy again?
He's Roberto. He's the nicest guy, but his name's Roberto. He's
actually...
actually
He's a Rosario Dawson. Rosario Dawson.
It's fantastic because everyone is still very much in character. Jughead is still who he is.
Is he still a zombie Jughead? Like, is he...
I mean, he's not character. I mean, what defines Jughead as a character? He likes to eat.
Oh. That's clever. Okay, I mean, if there was like a bulletin board of like points, I'd be like, all right, you get a point right there.
Well, the interesting thing is that the dynamic of Archie very much reflects what you see in a teen horror movie. Because you've got like the everyman, the sweet girl, the more slutty / rich girl, the nerd, the jock. I mean, Moose is very much like a Flash Thompson.
So it's like set up for we should just throw zombies.
That's
in here.
exactly what they did. They were looking at it and they're like, well, "What's this missing? If we threw zombies in there, we'd have an awesome zombie story."
That's awesome. So Archie, does it do a lot of these like weird tales?
Lately,
kind of.
Lately, they've started doing it. Like they'll have fun stories that are like. Again, for the most part, it's, Archie can't get a date, or Archie's suit is too small, or whatever. Lately, they've started doing fun stories, like, there's a lot of internet art of, like, gender-crossed characters. Not just for Archie, but in general. So they had a comic recently where Sabrina gender-swapped everyone in Riverdale. As a prank, and it's like, all right, let's see what happened, because they wanted to be like, again, steer into the curve.
Sabrina
like,
just doesn't have anything to do that day. Just like,
she like overhears them having the classic like, well, who's got it better? And she's like, I can figure this out. I have magic. Like,
we'll see.
And so like everyone just thinks that they're the same people. Like
Right.
Reggie is Regina, and he's exactly the same. He's just like super cocky and like full of himself, and thinks he's the hottest of hotness.
So it just doesn't.
And he's
change
just
them at
as a
all.
girl, like he's exactly the same. And she's
That's
like, well,
awesome.
nothing changed. You're exactly identical.
Pretty cool.
And that's the kind of thing they started doing after. I mean, Life with Archie is very much a turning point for the Archie line, and that's where they
Right.
introduced Kevin Keller, the gay character that they brought in and played totally normal and just integrated into the stories, and just did a great job with him. Archie is crushing it lately.
Wow.
And then Afterlife
I never
with Archie,
thought I'd say that I'm probably gonna check out an Archie comic.
it's
just
bizarre how good it is. Issue 4 of Afterlife with Archie got me really emotional because it's the one where he goes back to try to get his parents. To try to like,
because are they dead?
well, no, he doesn't know.
Oh.
They get separated. Like everyone at the school dance gets attacked, and they all swarm to Veronica's house because it's a big mansion with gates and a butler and security video
Good place
and
to
lights.
go if
It's
you're-
exactly where you want to be. It's the safest place in Riverdale. And Archie's like, I gotta go try to get our parents, and he goes to house, and at the end of issue 3, like he doesn't get anywhere, but he gets to his house. And issue 4 is just about him going home and his parents and his dog, and I won't tell you what state he finds each of them in, but it's really impacting.
Wow.
I was really moved by it. And then, issue 5, they leave Riverdale. And it's not like, oh, well, that was a fun story. It's like, no, this is an apocalypse book now. Like, this is The Walking Dead.
No, we're not gonna turn the page. And it's like, just kidding, everybody.
Sabrina learned her lesson. Time to put the old Necronomicon away. It's like, no. There's zombies now. There's
Wow.
lots of zombies.
And they just, making Jughead, I imagine, a main character in the series.
He's
just straight up an antagonist right off
he
the bat.
seems to be where they're going with that, because we've only seen him, in zombie hordes, but he seems to be like, in the front of the zombie horde, like pointing at the house,
The
like,
leader.
"Rrrr," and you're like, well, he seems to have some authority here. Like,
They're still keeping him in the book somehow.
Yeah, I mean,
Jughead pops up here, somewhere over
it's
there.
not like they like put a fire axe in his head and moved on. He's an integral character in the zombie mythos, and the fact that in the Archie mythos, the fact that he's still there is important.
That's cool.
So it's definitely worth a look. You don't need to know the characters, but even just being aware of like the archetypes,
Right.
You'll get it. You'll
I'm
get it
sure.
real fast.
It's like one of those like, oh, okay, yeah, all
Yeah.
right. Especially if, like you said, they all fit into those little boxes.
those niches, exactly. So like the old kind teachers, and you're like, I understand who these guys are real quick. Like it's very accessible, and that's the way Archie's survived for
Right.
decades unchanged.
Because you can just pick it up and
You can pick
just
up any
fall right
comic.
into it.
That's why it's the only comic that's still on supermarket shelves.
All right.
You know.
Well, that was an awesome pull, man. I mean, that sounds... I'm gonna pick up an
I think this goes without saying. Mature readers.
Right.
Afterlife with Archie. I mean, it's zombie and potentially sibling sex. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like,
that would be
just-
great just on the cover. Afterlife with Archie. Remember, potentially zombies and sibling sex.
Like,
Yeah, I'm going to think
definitely zombies. There might be incest. We haven't shown it.
Wow.
There might be incest.
a little dark.
It's a weird nether world of Archie.
Oh, wow.
And I will be talking about Life with Archie on a future poll. I have to catch up, but that's definitely going to come down the line as well.
Awesome. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, sir, I mean, great pull with Afterlife with Archie. We talked a little bit about Moon Knight. I think now let's move into our main event.
Let's do it. The Punisher Meets Archie. When Worlds Collide. Jay, you and I have read a lot of crossover comics.
Yeah.
You've read a lot of, crossovers within their own companies. Civil War, Secret Invasion, crossovers between superheroes.
It's almost become a staple now.
Very much so, almost every summer.
Yeah.
Now, you've probably read some of the intercompany crossovers, things like JLA versus Avengers. But crossovers are a thing that we're all familiar with.
Yeah, and they're
Now,
pretty
if I
cool
were
if
to
they're
tell
done well.
you that Archie... Now, I mean, I've already told you what comic we're talking about today, but pretend I didn't.
Okay.
And pretend the audience that I didn't just say Punisher meets Archie. But if you were to expect Archie to meet any superhero,
Right.
who do you think it would be?
You know, Mike, I gotta
Because,
say...
honestly, I think Superman and Spider-Man are the big two.
Right. If Archie had... I'm just thinking, so Archie's in a regular town, right?
Yeah.
So
The most regular town.
I mean,
Everyone's
maybe he'd
town.
run into some X-Men. Mm-hmm. Because, they live in the suburbs and they just kind of hang out.
Sure.
They could be in a couple houses,
Could
like
be.
visiting neighbors.
I guess.
Spider-Man lives in, like, kind of a
Neighborhoods?
suburban neighborhoods
Yeah.
outside of New York.
Sure.
So, yeah, maybe.
But I mean, in terms of like this
Who
tone.
could you be referring to?
In 1994, Marvel and Archie Comics, as a joke, started talking about this, and then one guy wrote a pitch. And it was terrific, and everyone's like, oh, well, we have to do this now.
I mean, we have to.
And this was actually right at the early days of comic book stores. This was in the early days of the direct market. This was something that was being very much sold to the direct market. This wasn't something that would be sold necessarily to everyone. This was like, hey, guys, you like the weird stuff. You're starting to collect comics. This is one you're going to want to collect.
Right. Because
That's
it's
kind
something
of...
you'd be like, what? Like, I imagine people passing by on shelves being like, this, what? This exists?
The logo, because there's the cover that's the classic Punisher cover with Archie in the gun
Punisher,
sights.
Mike?
The
Are you saying that?
Yes, I'm sorry, I buried the lead. The Punisher meets Archie.
Oh
Jay.
my goodness!
But there's also a cover that's just the Punisher's logo with Archie's face in it.
Wow.
It's so much fun.
I like that.
So in 1994, this comic came out. It's a trade paperback. It's just a graphic novel written by Batton, Lash, and the Punisher artist is John Buscema, and the Archie artist is Stan Goldberg.
Wait, so they work together?
Yes. So then Stan Goldberg John Buscema had drawn Punisher before. He'd drawn it for a few years. Stan Goldberg drew the Archie newspaper comic, I think, and another Archie comics for like 15 years. He was one of the Archie.
Right.
He's the guy.
One of the cornerstones of the
Archie line and the Archie look. And the premise is bananas.
I imagine so.
So it opens with the Punisher chasing a bad guy through the alleys of New York, and the guy escapes into Union Station, and he looks at a train station, sign of all the destinations, which includes, by the way, Gotham and Happy Harbor from DC Comics. So they're just going for it.
I have the whole kitchen sink. Let's do this.
And he says, yeah, 1 ticket to Riverdale, please. And we see him, and he looks almost exactly like Archie.
Wait, the Punisher does?
No, this bad guy. This bad guy looks almost exactly like Archie. He's got like buck teeth, and like his eyebrows are a little too thick, and his nose is a little turned up like the guy in the Mad Magazine covers.
Okay.
But by and large, that dude looks surprisingly like Archie. And
foreshadowing?
Well, where do you think we're going with this? I mean,
They have to meet at some point.
and the next thing we see is Archie in a sniper, like, gun sights.
So the real Archie.
The real Archie, who's, like, you know, talking to Veronica and stuff. And then it's like, oh, it's her little brother with a squirt gun. They do this a few times, and they cover, because we know Archie is coming. We know that Punisher is going to meet Archie.
Right.
So, like, 2 or 3 times we see, like, a gun barrel, and we think, and it's just the Archie's little kid, or it's Veronica's little kid brother.
A lot of guns in this town.
So, this bad guy, we find out, is named Melvin J., but Punisher knows him as Red Fever, and he's a drug lord.
Okay.
And he's hiding out in Riverdale, and he's pretending to be this entrepreneur. And Veronica is one of the 2 girls that Archie always is going after.
Yeah.
Her dad is very, very wealthy, and he loves Melvin J. Just loves this guy. Oh, he's so great. Hates Archie. Loves Mel J.
So this is already a bad setup for Archie, even more so than normal.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, well, you know, that Archie who got my dress soaked when my brother sprayed him, and he sprayed me back and got me instead. Well, you know what? I'm going to show him. I'm going to take Mel J to the 50s sock hop instead. And Mel's like, oh, all right, sure. I'll go to the sock hop.
This is like Pleasantville throws in like a serial killer.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh my God.
Now, Punisher shows up, and Punisher and Microchip. Now, Microchip is Punisher's buddy who, like,
Makes
is
weapons, right?
not as much as, like, he's like the hacker, like, he does help make weapons, but really his thing is, like, using computers to try to help find people, and he drives the van.
You never would have thought of with a name like Microchip.
Exactly. But they follow Red to Riverdale, and there's a scene where, like, Punisher's walking around, and you can tell he's, like, haunted by the idyllic life that he could have had his family not been killed by gangsters.
I can see why a bunch of people were sitting in a room being like, isn't this just the best thing? We have to do this.
It is the best thing. And we also find out that Punisher has a task. He's going to keep Red alive.
Why?
For the feds.
Oh, okay.
The threat is so bad that the feds have actually gone to Punisher and said, if you bring him in alive, we'll give you all the info he gives us and just go to town.
Which is a pretty big deal. Oh, so he gets him afterwards.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Punisher doesn't put anybody in.
No, he says,
He's on
he
loan.
says, look, I'll let you guys have Red. I get everyone he names.
Wow.
and they're like, okay.
Like, yeah, we're just going to make this deal.
That's super dark, but okay. But the premise is he can't kill Red. Mm-hmm. He's gotta interrogate him. But he's looking for Red, and he does see Archie in the Shake Shack, and he and Jughead are eating, and then these guys in like fedoras and suits approach him, and they're like, "Hey, Mel, we need you. We're the FBI, and we need to take you into witness protection." And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And this is the first time when we see the art styles clash, because everything that we've seen with Punisher has been drawn by John Buscema.
Oh, it's been its own different...
Everything that we've seen with Archie has been drawn by Stan Goldberg.
Now, have they been panel by panel? Like
panel by panel sometimes.
Okay.
Literally now, characters are drawn like Punisher, standing there talking to Punisher, characters drawn like Archie. They're sharing the panel, and it's like Space Jam.
How did they do that?
I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that question.
That's some artist collaboration right there.
It really is, because this was before you could have done it digitally and like slap it on. You could have done it, but it's really hard. And I imagine this just takes a lot of storyboarding.
This is some dedication to make an Archie and Punisher comic happen.
If they were going to do it, they had to do it right.
Right.
You can't have the Archie guy draw the Punisher, because we know what the Punisher looks like.
Yeah.
We know he is just walking stubble and gristle and calluses and scars. Like, that is what he is.
He's always a day away from a shave, just never quite there.
He's always a day away from death.
Right.
And you can't have the Punisher guy draw Archie, because he's going to look like a junkie. He's going to look like a strung out crackhead.
That's true.
Or like some like young, like, hey, I hope I don't die in this comic. Oh no, I died in this comic. Like, you like have to... You literally look like Space Jam.
Wow.
It's the greatest thing. It's so much fun.
Punisher's Bill Murray.
So they take Archie, and these bad guys are driving with him, and Punisher realizes these are rival gangs. They think this guy is Mel, and they're going to kill him. So he just starts shooting into the car.
Reckless abandon.
Yeah, well, no, they look at him, they're like, oh, we saw the rifle. That was a warning shot. We wouldn't have seen the rifle. Wow. And then they spin out, and they crash their car, and Archie wakes up, and the Punisher's just pointing a gun into his nose, basically, and is just like, oh, you're not him, and like walks away.
It's just like no immediate confusion.
No, he's like, he like based on how Archie looks at him, like I don't know what's going on. He's like, oh well, this isn't the guy.
Right.
And then he sees the hitman. He's like, I just start shooting at them, and Archie still thinks he's being targeted and just runs. And he and Jughead are just running, and they go to the police. And we get this montage because Archie's trying to tell the police, like, hey, the Punisher is after me. Why won't you believe me?
In Pleasantville town, you'll never believe what happened. Did somebody get caught in a tree? Ah, Johnny, get the ladder.
But he's like, the Punisher's after me. And we see the flashbacks of all the times that Archie has run into the cops. Then there's someone in cuffs who's saying, Archie, I'm not a cat burglar. I was going through the window because I lost my keys. Sorry, Dad. They aren't Martians. They're just filming a movie. Oops. Archie, this isn't a spy. He's an undercover cop, and you just blew his cover. My mistake.
So
and you're like,
telling me they managed to mash Punisher and Archie and still make a clip show episode?
I don't know if those are actual flashbacks, but the point is, like, he's the boy who's cried wolf.
Yeah.
Not because he's lying, but because he's just wrong about things. Because Archie books are about shenanigans. They're the first sitcom. They're up there with like Leave It to Beaver in terms of like just fun, episodic. Oh,
These
well,
kids.
Ha ha ha! All stand around laughing and everything.
The circle gets really small around his head.
Exactly. And then we're all back to status quo.
Yeah.
So you have to sell the fact that, this guy, the cops wouldn't necessarily believe him, because why would you?
Of course.
Why would you believe this kid who thought the Punisher was after him? So the cops are like, yeah, we'll take you under protection. And they just drop him off at the sock hop. They just leave. He's like, wait, no, guys! The Punisher is coming for me!
I do like that he knows who the Punisher is, though.
No, they all know who the Punisher is.
That's awesome.
The one of them's like, oh, isn't that guy that, Moose keeps talking about? Like, he is a character that they're aware of. And, Punisher sneaks into the sock hop. I don't know how...
How does he sneak into the sock hop?
Just through the window. It's in the high school.
Okay, so he doesn't, like, put on some ridiculous disguise or something.
He's wearing just, like, sweats.
Okay.
That's the thing. He's wearing just, like, a sweatshirt and, like, sweatpants.
So he doesn't have the signature...
It's underneath his clothes and stuff. And there's this moment where he's, like, walking around and he's like, it's weird to see a school that's not covered with graffiti and doesn't have bars on the window. Still, there is always graffiti. And there's a little, like, heart with, like, AA, heart, plus BC, and there's a little sign that says, like, keep Riverdale clean of litter, and that's the only piece of graffiti.
This is such a perfect comic.
It's so great. And then she goes in, Punisher goes into the sock hop at the school dance, and one of the old teachers, like, gets a crush on him. She's like, oh, you must be the new gym teacher based on your description. And he's like, yeah, well, I'm just here to help chaperone. Like, he plays into it.
Wow.
Meanwhile, there's a guy who's stage managing for Josie and the Pussycats. He's just, like, helping with the equipment. Josie and the Pussycats is is his host. They're the band at the sock hop. And he recognizes Mel. And he's like, oh, I know that guy. And he's drawn like a Punisher character. And everyone else at the dance is drawn like an Archie character.
That's awesome.
And he's like, and he calls on the payphone. He's like, hey, guys, I got a hot tip. Mel's here at the dance. And these bad guys who we saw earlier are like, oh, well, then let's go get him. And that's how the Punisher gets to the dance, because he's watching them.
Oh, okay.
He follows the hitmen, and then when they get the call...
So they're still having this big culmination is going to happen at the sock hop.
Everything's coming to the sock hop.
Oh, God.
Exactly. As soon as Mel sees Punisher, who is, again, unambiguously the Punisher.
Right.
I mean, he's wearing a sweatshirt and stuff, but...
Hey, you look like me.
You look like the Punisher.
Yeah.
Actually, that's the interesting thing is, Mel is the only character who's done in both art styles. But the bad guys go there, and there's this big fight at the gym, and the Punisher is very quickly revealed to be the Punisher when the bad guys open fire, and it's just chaos. There's gunshots everywhere. No one innocent goes down.
Okay.
But all the hitmen do. But Mel gets away and takes.
And they're killed. They're not just knocked out.
They
They're
are
just
killed.
dead.
They
Wow.
are shot. They are.
Now, are they shot in Punisher style, or is it like the Archie artist was like, I can finally have people dying in my comic?
It's still the Punisher style.
Okay.
Because they are always drawn Punisher style.
Okay.
The hitmen.
Okay.
They're always in that style, even when they're dead.
Okay.
And in fact, most of that scene is, with the bleachers, and you have Archie or Reggie hiding underneath the bleachers, and he's the one in normal time. He's like, ah! It's so much fun.
That's awesome.
But Mel takes Veronica hostage and gets away. And Archie pairs up with the Punisher, and he's like, no one's going to be safe around me if I'm not with you, because anyone who sees me and thinks that I'm that guy He's going to try to kill me and my friends. So, like, we have to stay with you. Now, throughout the comic, we've gotten glimpses of the Punisher's war journal. For those who may not know, who may not have read much Punisher, this is one of the big narration techniques. It's not like he gets captions of like, oh, what am I doing today? Or, oh, I can't believe that happened. It's like he's writing everything in a Punisher war journal. The scum on the street won't stay down, but I have the Lysol. You know, whatever. Like some, like, that's how he writes. That's how the book is structured. At this point, we get Archie's war journal.
That's
where he goes,
pretty
ordered
great.
a chocolate milkshake from Pop. Had a full evening. The shake went down good. Real good. And he calls over, Frank, how about a strawberry frap? My treat. He gave me a look that said he wasn't here for the drinks. Just as well. Ran my tab to the max earlier this week. And then Betty's like, Archie, why aren't you listening? He's like, I was being intense.
My God.
It's such a great
We need
comic.
to just stop recording. I need to read this thing like
It's
right
so
now.
good.
Oh my God.
They're listening to a tape of the ransom that the kidnapper made about Veronica. And she makes this reference like, you know, he's going to do it, guys. He really would shoot me. He's not full of hot air. And she's like, wait. I know you guys think we're just in Pleasantville. That's not something she would just normally say. I know where she is. She's right where the 4th of July balloons are.
Oh my God.
It's so great. So she gets away from him in this like warehouse. And, you know, Mel chases her into this room and turns on a light, and there's this giant Spider-Man balloon. And he's like, you! Wait! Oh, it's a balloon. Wait! Hot air! And, like, is about to kill her. And then the Punisher shows up, and he's like, guess what, Mel? I just got a call from the feds. That guy who was at the dance, who was working for Josie and the Pussycats, he ratted. He knew everything you know.
Oh,
You're
God.
expendable.
Wow.
And then there's this fight, which is actually very brief, and there's like, it's more shenanigans than anything else, because like Archie ends up on a, like one of those audio video carts, and just like rides into the guy and bumps into him, and his wig falls off. Turns out Mel doesn't have Archie hair, he's just bald, and he gets his foot caught on a balloon, and it just floats away out of the skylight, and he's like, wait, no, bye! And
We just assume he dies in space.
Punisher's like, well, it's not often they get away, but I mean, I'm still gonna get all the info from the feds.
Right.
And if this guy gets away, if this guy somehow lives, like, I burned down his empire, and he'll know I'm waiting for him. And
we can have an Archie Punisher comic number 2.
Exactly. And then, you know, everyone in the town is thanking him. You get the sense the Punisher really doesn't want to leave, because he kind of likes it here.
Aw.
This is really the life he could have had. Ms. Grundy, the old woman who thought he was the gym teacher and was, like, flirting with him, and actually when the real gym teacher showed up, she's like, wait, who are you? And he's like this fat, heavy guy, and they're like, what do you think? And she's like, well, fire him, hire the other guy. Before she knew he was the Punisher.
Right.
She gives him this letter jacket as like thanks, and she's like, here you go. And it's like a letter sweater, like 50s style.
Yeah.
And it's really sweet. And then they get in the van, and Microchip's like, all right, next we're going to a real feel-good town, Gotham City. And they drive away.
Wow. I mean, it's so interesting because I feel like as zany as that is, it's like one of the only stories the Punisher can really be allowed to have a very interesting arc.
It really is, because you really get to see something you don't see anywhere else.
Oh, yeah.
You can't have him go to a regular town and be like, well, here's just a normal suburban area, and it's obviously not crawling with crime because I'm here. I'm the Punisher.
Yeah.
It's crawling with crime.
It will
They
have to
even
be.
say, like, they're driving to Riverdale, they're like, well, it sounds idyllic, but how many times have we gone to idyllic towns and found it just full of heroin? Like how many times have we gone somewhere and found out it's Breaking Bad? Like, no.
Would you like some sweet tea and heroin? Damn it.
It turns out all the old people were ninjas. Like, that
is like a Punisher problem.
That's exactly right.
He brings property value down when he comes to town.
That's how he lives his life. The only way you can really sell that is with Archie. And this is one of those crossovers where everyone is absolutely in character all the time. It's
That's
absolutely
awesome.
the Punisher, and it's absolutely Archie. And then there's an epilogue where we see someone holding a picture of Jughead, but it's not Jughead because he's wearing an actual crown, like, you know, not like gold, but like, you know, the proper like regal thing with the red velvet and everything. And he's wearing like those robes and stuff. And someone is saying, "This is who I'm supposed to be afraid of." Cerebro says you're the most powerful mutant alive. If that's the case, I'm gonna have to find out what you're made of, bub. Snicked.
What?
And they go, the end? You tell us.
Oh my God.
I have never read I don't think there is a Wolverine meets Jughead.
That's awesome.
But guys, write letters to Marvel.
Please.
Write letters to Archie
Please.
Comics. Let's get Wolverine. It's been 20 years since that comic came out.
Really?
Yeah, 1994. Let's
we need to
get
make this happen.
Wolverine meets Jughead. going. Guys, they made a zombie Archie comic. They can make Wolverine meets
They can
Jughead.
absolutely make a Wolverine meets Jughead. Mike, that was an awesome main segment. I am gonna pick that up as
There
soon
are
as
so
possible.
many terrific moments that I had to skip over because
Right.
you have to appreciate them as they
Well,
are.
and this is a perfect opportunity, guys out there listening. Pick up the comic, maybe reinvigorate it a little bit, and please write those letters. We got to see that Wolverine and Jughead thing.
I want it so badly.
All right. Well, great main segment. Now we're going to be moving on to one of our game segments that we have, and we end out each show with. For our today's segment, we're going to be doing Who Am I? Who am I?
Every other episode, we have a different game segment, and this time it's Who Am I? Which is basically 20 questions. Jay picks a hero or villain from Marvel or DC, and I try to guess who it is, and I have a couple lifelines, but we'll get into that if we need them. Jay,
Yeah, I guess we're going to kick
I was about to ask, who is it?
Who is it? You know what? The answer is...
Why don't I ever just ask that?
And also, some of the rules are his questions, as you know, they have to be kind of either yes or no or very specific. We can't do any, exactly like his question was. Yeah, who is it? Oh, well, the answer is this.
Yeah.
So,
Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Hero or villain? Or anti-hero?
I'm going to go with a fine line between hero and anti-hero.
Okay. Male, female, or neither?
Male.
Okay.
The neither option.
Well, I mean, I would
That's
qualify
true,
like
hey.
M11, the robot android, is probably
Right.
neither.
Right.
So it's male, kind of hero, anti-hero from Marvel.
Yes.
Let's see. Did he premiere in the Silver Age, sort of the 60s, or not?
That's a good question. I don't believe he made an appearance in the 60s, but this might just be from limited knowledge.
Okay. So you think he's more recent?
More recent,
Okay.
yes.
Does he have superpowers? And again, I qualify things like magic is not really a superpower. It's something that he can do on his own.
Yes,
Yeah.
he does have superpowers.
He does have superpowers. Is he... This is an important question for Marvel. Is he a mutant?
Yes, he is.
He is a mutant. Okay.
You're at 6 questions.
Oh, okay. I was about to ask. I see your little post-it.
Yes.
I think I know who it is, but I want to keep asking questions.
Wow, already?
I think so. I could be very wrong. Is he a member of any superhero teams?
Like he has been a part of them at some time?
I guess, has he ever been a member?
Yes.
Okay. Has he ever made a feature film appearance?
Yes. He has. Now, when we're talking mutants, I don't know if that... He's not the porcupine guy. No, you were thinking that.
I knew I was thinking the
it was
porcupine guy.
Oh,
That movie. That is... should we ever do movie episodes, like talk about movies?
only if it's exclusively about X-Men 3.
Because
Only
we have a
exclusively.
lot to say.
A lot to talk about.
I have 2 really solid guesses, but I want to kind of narrow it down.
Okay.
Does he have an accent?
Yes.
Gambit.
Yes, it is. Gambit.
It was Gambit or Wolverine.
Right. Where you as soon as you got the mutant thing, you're like, all right. This is
Well,
Gambit or
it was mutant anti-hero who wasn't in the Silver Age, which rules out Namor.
One of your questions could have been, now if he had a deck of playing cards, would he be inclined to, say, throw them at people?
Does he have a signature weapon that might be 52 or so?
Yeah.
Because the other thought was Wolverine. You just didn't laugh loud enough when I asked you if he'd made a feature film adaptation. Because he's been in 9 movies.
Look at that, doing some very other level detective work there. Mike, has he made a feature film premiere? Yes, he has made one. Just possibly one. Maybe more.
He has made 1 feature film.
He's made 1 feature film.
Upcoming too, because he is going to be played by
Channing Tatum is being rumored to...
no, confirmed.
Oh, he is confirmed
He
now.
is straight up confirmed.
Oh, wow.
Now, what the rumor is it going to be a solo movie, which is ambitious, because they've only done spin-offs.
That's true.
And frankly, only a couple moderately successful ones at best.
Right.
And then, or is he going to show up in Apocalypse? And we just don't know where
Possibly.
that's going to go.
We'll see. Only time will tell. Well, to end this segment for Who Am I, in case you haven't guessed it already because you're
not listening
or running away from werewolves, which can be found in Egypt, as we learned today.
Yes, exactly.
The answer is Gambit. The answer for Who Am I, if you're playing the bingo game.
Remy LeBeau.
Yes, old Remy. And yeah, I believe he does have an accent, right?
Yeah.
I think it's probably his mutant power. That's what his mutant power is. His accent is so thick and sometimes annoying that it makes objects explode around him.
That is the mutant power that almost every X-Men character that premiered after 1975 got. Every Chris Claremont character got that mutant
you know what this
power.
one deserves? He deserves a...
Well, think about it, because you have Colossus, whose
Right.
accent isn't written out that phonetically, but he has one. Nightcrawler.
He doesn't say comrade in every other sentence?
He says comrade, but he doesn't say comrade with like that weird Russian Z or whatever.
Right.
Like, it's not really obvious. Nightcrawler's is very obvious. Aurora's they talk about, but Storm doesn't seem to have one literally on the dialogue.
Written,
like, Gambit's dialogue is completely incomprehensible. You just can't. You need to go over that thing like and read it phonetically and then write that down. The funny thing is the Wolverine Origins movie where Gambit first appeared, pretty hit and miss. But I actually really like his introduction where he's shuffling
Right, at the
cards.
table
He's got
and
the fedora, and Wolverine asks, "You Remy LeBeau? Do I owe you money? No." Then Remy LeBeau I am. Like, he's just the happiest to meet somebody.
Yeah.
But he's like, he doesn't...
Pretty cool
he
guy to
doesn't
hang
seem
out
like-
with.
Obviously, like, it's the whole... If someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes. If someone asks you if they owe you money, you say no, and, oh, you are who I am trying to meet. Yes,
Exactly.
you owe me money. Like, he doesn't seem to, like, care. Like, he's just... Devil may care.
Well, it works for a guy who can make pretty much anything explode, so...
That's true. It works for a guy who's surrounded by a world full of bombs.
He just figured this out at a young age. Just like, well, I could accidentally blow myself up at any time, so I might as well enjoy life.
Or also like, Superman is very reserved because he feels like he's living in a world of cardboard.
Yes.
Gambit can turn anything into bombs. Like, I live in a world with grenades.
Exactly.
Live grenades that don't go off
Always.
till I let go of them. That is literally a thing. They don't go off until he stops
Let's
holding
go.
them.
And once it's charged with the kinetic energy, and then kaboom.
So, like, why wouldn't you just say whatever you want?
Yeah. He's like, you can come after me, but I could turn your entire nightclub into, well, a nuclear bomb.
It's a
I
bomb
guess.
now.
Yeah.
You are in a bomb.
Oh, man.
Oh,
All right.
Gambit.
I can't wait to see that movie now a little bit.
I'm looking forward to
it
it
now after this conversation about Gambit. All right, well, everyone, that was our episode 4 of Because Comics. We'll be posting a new episode every other week. If you'd like to download more episodes or check out other similar podcasts, head over to partialarc.com. That's arc with a C. Of course, you can email us any questions at becausecomics@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter and Instagram at because_comics. And be sure to check out more content from our comic boy wonder, Mike Christensen, at supergeekmike.com.
I definitely just saluted on an
did.
audio podcast.
It really came through. It
I
really
know.
came through the audio. Well, everyone, thanks for listening. And remember,
I know the name of every episode of Lost. Ladies.
that's amazing.
Pilot Part 1, Pilot Part 2, Tabula Rasa, Walkabout,
my
White
God.
Rabbit, House of the Rising Sun.
He's going for it. He's going for it. Just people in the stand somewhere. Because comics.